This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
Okay, I'm ready anytime you are.
All right, ready and action.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 144 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
That's the spirit. You'll be celebrating Life Day before you know it.
On the set, I communicated most with, obviously, the Chewbaccas.
Yeah, he just seems like a big barrel of Wookiee.
You know what's fun about going to just one of the races? We only had to get up at 3:30 a.m. once.
How long into the film until we stop looking at her as Hermione Granger?
Trificus totalis.
Hi, this is Steve Binder, director of the Star Wars Holiday Special, and I'm skywalking through Neverland.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Hello, Skywalkers.
Listen. Up to Neverland.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
Wow. Oh, what?
You are skywalking through Neverland.
Hey, Skywalkers! Welcome to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We are the fun-filled and family-friendly Star Wars and Disney podcast that bring you entertaining stories from the creators and fans. And a big thanks and a giant Wookiee hug to our family of Skywalkers who listen to the show every week, post on our Facebook group, and share the positivity about our adventure through fandom. And a big hello to all our Scope Walkers right now who are watching. Hey, Scope Walkers! Now, I am Richard Woloski, your tour guide through fandom. Once again, gotta thank Trisha Barr for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And now, everyone, please say hello to my sweetie wife, Sarah, who is agreeing to make our kitchen look like Tatooine.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you just said you were.
When?
You were on board with this.
No, I wasn't. I have a whole IKEA kitchen planner that says otherwise. And it looks really pretty. And it's got all kinds of, guess what? Cabinets and storage space and shelving. And I'm so excited.
But the lived-in Tatooine look, it's like so Star Wars. Why would we not want to do this and save a couple $1,000s?
Because...
All right, moving right along. Moving right along, my sweetie wife, Sarah, who loves Tatooine.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, but I don't like... Well, okay. Well, where are we recording this from? Well, you know what?
I was trying to slip that in there.
You know what, though?
It didn't work.
I may love Tatooine, but we are not on Tatooine, which means we need a fabulous kitchen. In Long Beach, California, which is where we're recording this from, on November 16th, 2016.
You skipped your part right over here.
No, I didn't.
No? Yes, you did.
Yes, and? Where are we going?
All right, Sarah. Well, you know what? Why don't you welcome everyone the way only you know how to in your social media way.
Okay. Well, of course, we love it when you tweet at us and tell Richard that he's wrong. And you can tweet at us at SkywalkingPod and say, Sarah thinks that we should have lots of shelving.
Come on, guys. You got to back me up on this. We want to go with that Tatooine lived-in look that's going to cost thousands of dollars less. All right. So now let's move on to our big Star Wars holiday special extravaganza. Now, you already told them that we're recording from Long Beach, California on November the 16th, 2016, which is the Star Wars holiday special Eve Day.
That's right.
But, Minnie, what time is it?
It's 10:01. Good morning.
Wow, we're recording this pretty early.
Yeah, thank you, Minnie.
Uh-huh.
Now, like we were saying earlier, this is our big Star Wars holiday special extravaganza, and I am so excited because we got Steve Binder, the director of the Star Wars holiday special. Now, many of you are thinking, wait a minute, wasn't David Akamba the director? Well, Steve Binder was the go-to rescue guy who came in and saved the production. And we have all those fun stories about the holiday special and how it almost never became the Star Wars holiday special, and it almost became a big pile of celluloid or videotape.
Yeah, it was super exciting. He's like such an awesome guy. He loves creating, and he's still creating to this day. He's still in production, so
yeah,
it's amazing.
This guy's got stories working with Steve Allen and Pee Wee Herman and the Chewbaccas. Love how he
That's
calls
right.
the Wookiee family the Chewbaccas.
Yeah, it was cute. Now, also on this episode, we have holiday special fun facts, a tribute to Princess Leia's song, A Day to Celebrate, from Rob Dellinger, and Eliza the Secret Keeper Peralta. We also have shout-outs, a long overdue Skywalker of the week, and things we want to share with highlights from last weekend's Doctor Strange 10K, and also the new Beauty and the Beast trailer.
Lots of fun stuff, but before we get into that, let's now reveal the winner of the foreign dub contest. Now, the Skywalker who guessed the film, the scene, not so much the language, but he was the closest one to guess the first two. Sarah, who is it?
It is-
Oh, hold on. Drum roll.
Matt Cloberdens. Oh, congratulations, Matt. You were also at Quetum on Twitter. That's a fun name. Well, I love his last name, Matt Cloberdens. Or if you say it in German, it's Cloberdens. Awesome name. Okay. Well, he tweeted, I think the clip is from Pinocchio, the scene where Jiminy Cricket is teaching Pinocchio how to whistle. Language is French.
Ooh.
Weren't quite sure about the language is not quite correct.
No, but here is the clip in the foreign language, and you get one last guess, Skywalkers.
Oh.
Here's the clip.
Och när du än behöver mig, bara vissla. Så här.
Så här.
Nej, försök igen, Pinocchio.
Så här.
Well, if you guessed Swedish, then you were right. So close to French, I think. So congratulations to Matt Cloberdans.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you need me, just whistle. Like this.
Like this?
No, try it again, Pinocchio.
Like this?
All right, now with that, let's move on to our next contest. Who is going to win the Rancho Obi-Wan swag bag?
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is something very easy, and that is to help out someone who has helped out so many in the past. Now, Joe Mignano from the HoloNet Audio Drama Podcast, he just needs a little help to get back on his feet. And Skywalkers, we're putting out the call to you.
We are asking our Skywalker family to help out by going to gofundme.com/help-the-joe-mignano and pitch in. And Mignano is spelled Mignano. So here's how the contest works. Once you've donated what you can, doesn't matter if it's $1, doesn't matter if it's $100, you can email us and let us know that you have donated and what name you've donated under. If you've already donated, please email us and let us know that too, since we don't recognize some of the names or some of you choose to do anonymous. So email us, share@skywalkingthrough-neverland.com. You have until December the 1st, and you have a chance to win a swag bag from Rancho Obi-Wan with some really awesome stuff.
There's a deformed Finn plush doll.
Mm-hmm.
There's an R2 itty bitty.
Look at him.
There's a Darth Vader itty bitty.
Oh.
There's these Tops Pogs things, these hexagon shaped plastic chips.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what they are. And the Boba Fett playing cards.
Yes.
Now these are all still shrink wrapped. They're all brand new.
Yes.
And the Carmundi Empire Strikes Back card set.
Cartamundi.
From Celebration 5.
Yeah, and they're numbered here.
Yes. And a Zeb pin.
Oh.
Let's throw in a couple of Skywalking pins too.
Oh, yes. Skywalking pins will be part of this.
So this can all be yours if you just help out a friend in need by December the 1st. Now, once again, this is an ongoing donation, so feel free to donate after December the 1st, but our contest just goes until December the 1st. Because then we got to make room for our next contest. Not sure what that is, but we're always giving away stuff here.
That's true. We still have some more swag from Rancho Obi-Wan.
We got lots of stuff. Oh, and I'm sure for Rogue One, we're going to have a big meetup, and there's stuff that we can't ship because it'd be way too big, and like posters that we don't want to ship because they would just get damaged. So lots of stuff to give away.
Absolutely.
All right, getting ahead of ourselves. So coming back to this show, we have lots of things to share on
Things we want to share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
Last weekend, November 11th through 13th, Run Disney held their annual Avengers Superheroes Half Marathon weekend. So we actually sat out the half marathon itself, but we went to the Doctor Strange 10K on Saturday morning.
And we crushed it.
We did. And you know what's fun about going to just one of the races? We only had to get up at 3:30 a.m. once.
Now, there really should be an extra medal if you're going to wake up at 3:30 2 days in a row, and then maybe like a trophy or a plaque.
If you do 3?
Yeah, or maybe a bronze statue if you're going to get up 3 days in a row at 3:30 a.m.
Honestly, that's the hardest part of these runs, is that you have to get up so early.
Right.
But we had an awesome time, and the 10K, it keeps on getting different themes every year. So last year was the Captain America 10K. This year was the Doctor Strange 10K and had a medal to match. It was the Eye of Agamotto.
Right. And I love the medals that look like something. Like something like the Eye of Agamotto or the Captain America shield.
Yes.
Rather than just like a random circle with the maybe
the name
a logo.
of the name of the race or something.
The A with the Avengers is nice, but I like the actual emblem.
Right.
That one got us. Now, we ran with a couple of Skywalkers that morning. Now, is it morning or is it still night?
It's morning. The
The
sun comes up pretty early.
No, it didn't. Not until later on.
Well, it came up while we were running through Cars Land.
Oh, that was great.
Remember that?
That was great.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, and a big shout out to all of our Skywalkers who made it out there, like Randy Crane of Stories from the Magic.
Sarah Beth Pollock and Kirk Says.
And Chris Marino, if you're still on Periscope here, you ran your very first half marathon.
Wow.
Now, he goes into that in a pre-recorded roundtable that we had done just after the 10K, because you know us, we're never far from our recorders and a roundtable. Even if we don't know you, we're going to pull you in for a roundtable.
Yep.
So here we are with Randy Crane from Stories from the Magic and Chris Marino talking about the Avengers Superheroes Half Marathon Weekend
of the Magic.
Did I? Oh, Randy, I'm so sorry. Stories of the Magic.
I think I said that.
Stories from the Magic.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Bad.
Sorry. Stories of the Magic. I'll get that all figured out by the time we do our podcast cruise next year, Randy.
Right?
All right, roll it. We are here with Randy Crane of Stories of the Magic and the upcoming podcasting cruise, and Skywalker Chris Marino making his very first appearance on Skywalking Through Neverland. Hey, guys.
Hey.
So, Randy, Randy, we just finished our Dr. K 10K. Doctor Strange 10K. I got up really early in the morning. How did you do for this race?
I did great because I stopped for a lot of characters and I stopped to take pictures in Cars Land for like 5 minutes or something. And so my time, I don't even know and I don't even care. I didn't get swept. That's all I care about.
That was pretty much me. I wanted a picture with Doctor Strange and not get swept. Or even if I did, we would still get our medals because we're not doing the challenge. So it didn't matter to finish the race. We were like, Doctor Strange must get a picture.
And Chris, you did the 5K yesterday. How was that?
Well, I didn't do that yesterday. I'm doing the half marathon tomorrow.
I thought you did the 5K.
I did the 5K at the regular Disney run. Like
Disneyland half marathon weekend.
So many
that's
races
it.
to get them all confused.
Yes. But Randy ran the 5K, and he got the awesome Captain America medal that's right here.
Clink medals. So how was the 5K?
The 5K was really good. It was the standard characters for the Avengers that they've done so far. You know, we had Black Widow and Hawkeye and Thor and Captain America. But, they added a couple of things today, which was cool. But, it was a fun course, and you get into Cars Land even earlier than you do for the 10K. So it's there, right before sunrise, when it's got all the reds and oranges, and it's just amazing. And then, it's a fun course, and, I had a good time with that one, too. I don't know or care what my time was for that either.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the 10K a little bit, because we actually hit Cars Land as the sun was rising, that magic hour. We turned the corner into that beautiful canyon area, and the sunset was like the same color. Like the sunrise was like the same color. It was everyone. We would turn the corner and everyone would stop, and there would be this major because everyone was stopped and taking pictures.
Yeah, I remember that from last year when it happened. So this year I knew it was coming. So there's Cars Land. We're about to come on stage, drift to the left, get the camera out, and then just let everybody else pile up right there.
Yeah, you were smart.
Yeah, so I know we're not doing the races for the times, but how long did it take you to finish the 5K and the 10K?
The 5K, I think, was just over an hour, because one of the character lines was pretty long, and there's just not time to make up that time. Today was 2:03. It's 2 hours and 3 minutes, so.
I think we were near that, too.
I think our time was your time was 2:03, ours was 2:02.
I can check.
Yeah. Just got it perfectly.
Our time was 2:10.
No, 2:02. That's wrong. Social media is wrong.
So clearly I misremembered, and mine must have been 2:11.
Yes, there you go. Now, Chris, you're doing the
half marathon tomorrow. It's your very first half marathon.
Yes, I'm excited and nervous. So, I have never reached 13 miles. So here we go.
That's okay. I had never done 13 for my first half.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. But I think it's the adrenaline. It keeps you going. Not only in the parks because of all the characters and the pictures and stuff, but even on the streets for the half marathon, Anaheim gets out in force, and the bands and the dance teams, and they keep you going mile after mile.
Well, that's good. That helps. That'll.
And also around mile 8 or 9, there's usually a bunch of cosplayers that are all dressed.
Stretch of cosplayers, which really help because there's so many different stops for cosplaying pictures. And then when you get to Disneyland, I'm not even really sure that's not really cosplaying there at that point. Those are the characters.
Oh yes.
Professionals.
Yes.
Exactly, but you get a lot more choices because there's literally, 20 cosplayers at least in all different awesome outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're fans, so they have more fun with the costumes.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
They don't have to be so strict. Yeah. You'll see characters that you never ever see. Like last year we saw the Lizard. That was a lot of fun from the Spider-Man comics.
Yes.
That's exciting.
So are you nervous at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I am a little bit.
So at this point you've only run 9.1 miles?
That's correct.
Yeah, I think when I ran my first half marathon, I ran 4 miles.
Oh, there you go.
You were up to at least 6.
And we completed it, and it's like Sarah was saying, it's the adrenaline.
Oh, that's good.
How long did it take us to finish that first?
4.
4.
I think it was around 4.
Yeah, we took a golf cart most of the time.
Well, there you go. The one thing that gives me hope is where I live. It's very hilly. So,
that'll help a lot.
And so here is flat, and I'm very excited, very happy about that. Because when I run at home, it's suddenly you can see that hill. You're like, oh Lord.
Now there's one part backstage where you can see Star Wars Land, and they'll tell you not to take pictures. Take pictures.
I will definitely take pictures.
Yeah, just say, Rich said I can take pictures, and they'll leave you alone.
I'll just pretend. Oh, my ankle.
Yeah, click, 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 click.
All right, so something new that we had never participated in, but they had today, and they've always had, are the kids' races. So, Randy, you had your child do the race. What is her name?
Her name is Adara.
Adara, and so she is 19 months?
Right, 19 months.
So how was that for you?
It was good. It was really crowded in the corrals to start just because they just sort of group everybody. But I had no idea what to expect because I'd never been here for it before. And so they just kind of, they went through and they were handing out the Go-Go Squeeze applesauce to the kids. So I think...
At the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they gave out more at the end. So I think she had 3 packets today so far and she's got 5 more to take home. But then as they bring you up, it's just kind of, you work your way up to the start line. And then when you get close, they have these little lanes taped off. And they've got 2 sets of them. And they line the next group up on the first one. And then when they say you go up to the second one and they have someone there that says go, and off they go, run, toddle, whatever, be carried,
wander.
Right, yeah.
What was her training like for this?
Oh, I've taken her out with me on several of my runs. Usually she's in the stroller.
Right.
But I have taken her out with me. She went out with me for my 5K run this past Tuesday.
Aww.
Actually, and she really likes it. She likes being out there. So we did get a little distracted partway through today because the song changed to a new song, and she had to stop running to dance for a while. If you're not going to have fun, why bother, right?
Absolutely. And I saw her right towards the finish line. She was like meters away, but the characters were all there. Spider-Man and Thor and Black Widow.
They're all waving at her.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
They really messed up her time, didn't they?
They did. I think they were trying to sabotage her.
Yeah, carols of those.
But she was totally enamored with them.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, she loves it.
So which one is her favorite?
I'm not sure. I don't know that she has a favorite, but she might be leaning towards Spider-Man right now because she really liked the Spider-Man-themed race bib and the Spider-Man-themed medal, so...
Okay, well, she can have Spider-Man. Thor's mine.
And I'll take Black Widow.
You'll have to fight me for it.
That might be worth it. Now, Chris, are you doing the marathon just for the challenge, for the medal?
Originally it started because I was just like, it's running through Disneyland. Yeah. I mean, come on, that's cool. And then it's like a drug. Yes. I did the 5K, like, I gotta do this one. And then I planned on doing the Star Wars one, but I won't be here, so I'm gonna have to miss that one. But when I'm here, I'm gonna do all these Disney ones because they're just fun. I don't,
Oh yeah,
it's running through the park. I love Disney. I love, and the running's become like I said, a drug. It's like crazily addictive.
Yeah, you will get addicted. That's how I thought I would just do one back in 2015.
The Avengers.
No, it was the Tinkerbell. It was the Princess.
Oh, the Princess half.
The Princess half was my very first half marathon. I thought, you know what, I'll do one, get it out of the way. Then they announced the Star Wars marathons, and it was all over at that point. It's like, here you go. You got me. You got me.
And then you start seeing people's collection of medals. You're like, I want all those.
Yeah. And it's just fun seeing all the people. We saw Gus Lopez running and Dan Brooks from StarWars.com. So you get to see a lot. Dave Collins was here one year. So it's a race that everyone does from all walks of life and all over the world, really.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Is there any, what do you have, a favorite part of the races maybe this time?
Oh, I really like this particular set of characters. I love the Star Wars characters, but there are some of these that I just really love to be able to stop, and you don't get a chance to talk to them, but that, and of course the kids' races. Now that my daughter's done her very first race on her own, that's got to be a highlight.
Anything for you, Richard?
As we found out earlier, it's best not to talk to the characters. They're better for taking pictures, not for talking.
Let's get into that skit they did this morning, an hour before the race started. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
I've never heard such wooden.
When the casting call went out, it probably said you don't need to act; you just need to look good in the costume.
Look alike.
And now they're saying, "Oh, we should have given them a little bit of improv training before we sent them out."
Yes, and
exactly. But they did their best. Yes. And one of the hosts, the running host, when all the Avengers came out on stage, I yelled out something about Iron Man. She gave me a look like, "Don't go there. Oh, yeah. Don't go there," because it's the Iron Man race that has got that character, not even the character, the name copywritten.
Yeah, they can't even say it. The race announcers.
They skirt around. I remember at Star Wars last year, somehow Carissa tricked Rudy into saying the words Iron Man.
Oh, no.
And he's like, and I'll be polishing my resume. And then she did something that messed up a few minutes later. It's like, I'll be polishing mine too, but
Yeah, they can't even say Robert Downey Jr. They can't say less than zero. They can't say back to school. Anything having to do with Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, they wipe away from your mind.
Wow. That's crazy.
All right, so Chris, what are your predictions for tomorrow for your race?
3 hours? I don't
3
know.
hours?
Somewhere in there. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, see, now remember, pictures and characters, and take the time to do that.
Yes.
You will regret it if you don't. You're paying all this money, don't worry about your time. Be it 16-minute miles, it doesn't matter. You've trained to have, enough time to see the picture, or to see the character.
However, if you do see the balloon ladies, bring a tack. Bring a tack and use it.
Better yet, a Skywalking Through Neverland pin.
There you go. There you go.
I will definitely do the pictures with the characters. When I did the 5K, it was the Brother Bear run, and they had at Brother Bear the little one, Koto, and that's Coda, and that is my oldest son's favorite Disney movie. So I had to take a picture with Coda. It was amazing, and so it was fun. So I'll definitely do that with characters for sure.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good, guys. Now we have to go home and shower.
Yeah. We've all been standing a little too close to each other.
Yes.
Back to work. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Now, let's talk about the amazing new trailer for Beauty and the Beast, which just released on Monday, and it was all over Facebook and the internet and Twitter and everywhere.
Belle, you must leave here. This castle is alive.
Who's there?
Do you wish to take your father's place?
Come into the light.
Show me the girl. Don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah, I'm really excited about seeing this movie. I was excited before, but now I'm really excited. This looks like a visual eye candy fest.
Well, okay, what's fun is the night before, our whole family, we watched the original Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
Because I had gotten the 25th anniversary version, and I was so excited to watch it, and it was fun sharing it with my family once again.
There's also a YouTube clip going around where there's a side-by-side comparison to the animated feature to this new live action.
Right.
Wow, they're nailing it.
Well, okay, this is my question then. How do we feel about the fact that it's kind of an exact replica of... Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
If I'm going to go see Beauty and the Beast, I want to go and see Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because in my mind, I'm also equating this live action Beauty and the Beast to Cinderella. You know, like the fact that they are taking the original film and making it live action. Even though they've done that to some other films, for some reason that seems the closest. I think because they're princess films. But what's interesting is I did not like Cinderella and how, to me, it was so close to the original. It's like, well, why not just watch the original, which was cuter?
Right.
Even though it does seem kind of going to replicate the story and a lot of the shots and stuff exactly, I actually am super excited about seeing Beauty and the Beast in live action. And honestly, I think Emma Watson is a big, big factor for me here.
Well, I want to see references and shot analogies to the animated film.
Yeah.
I really want to see that because it tells me that the director knows how to give a wink and a nod to the fans.
Right.
And how long into the film until we stop looking at her as Hermione Granger?
I don't know. I guess that just depends on how good of acting she does. But I mean, she's so likable and she looks, I mean, she's Belle.
Oh,
you know?
That's great.
I mean, she's amazing. So, and then also this new trailer really brought me in with that opening piano lick. The da-da. You know, it played the exact same opening as the opening to the original Beauty and the Beast, which always gets me. It gets me all like, ooh, you know.
Yeah, and the fact that
the feels.
Kevin Kline plays Belle's father.
Yeah.
He's an extraordinary actor, and I'm so sad that he had taken such a huge hiatus from acting.
Yeah.
But now he's back in a big, big way.
He is back. Now, this trailer, though, in my opinion, even though it got me excited, I think it showed too much. Like, I don't want to see what Mrs. Potts looks like yet, or Chip, or I don't want to see, especially them meeting on the staircase and her in her dress and him in his finery. Like, wait for the movie for that. But everything else they showed, like the teaser of the Be Our Guest, looks incredible. I know you guys are saying that on Periscope too. I think
trailers are a whole new animal.
They are.
They've got to show you the whole film in 2.5 minutes because there's scenes here, there's shots here to the end of the film Like, no, we don't want to see the fight between the Beast and Gaston.
Uh-huh.
Now, you know what? Speaking of which, Gaston.
Yes.
How are we feeling about the? I'm not sure who's.
Yeah. He is an actor who's famous in the Broadway world.
Okay.
And I think he looks great, like, in my opinion. And if he plays it very,
Gastonish?
Exactly. I think it'll be just fine because he has the look. I really think so. What do you think?
I would picture him being a little bit more broad.
Well,
Luke Evans. Chris Marino says.
That would be a cool Gaston. Oh my goodness.
Who's Luke Evans?
Oh.
Is Luke Evans Gaston?
Oh, I was getting confused. I'm sorry. Luke Evans. Gaston doesn't look quite right for me.
Someone else just said Gaston doesn't look quite right.
That's
and
Randy Crane.
I had to watch it a couple of times to go, that's Gaston. He's a little bit too small.
Yeah, but who's going to be as broad and brawny as the actual Gaston in a animated film?
Well, I think Wolverine.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman.
Right, but
The Rock.
The Rock,
says.
yeah. Hugh Jackman
Matt.
is too likable to be Gaston, though.
Well, right, but I'm talking about the physique.
Okay.
Someone a little bit bigger than this guy here.
Okay.
And,
he was the archer in the new Hobbit, says Chris Marino. Yeah, we never watched that.
And then we have Josh Gad. We have Olaf over here as
LeFou.
LeFou.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just hated that relationship in the movie, but I know it served its purpose to show how bullish that Gaston is, even to his quote-unquote friends.
You hated that relationship?
I did because I'm like in Big Bang Theory. Why are these people still friends with Sheldon?
Okay.
He's nothing but an annoyance. And now Gaston just keeps hitting and pulverizing poor LeFou.
Right.
He's just a hanger-on.
Well, okay.
This guy is literally taking his big giant
fist.
Anchor of a fist and is pounding this little tiny LeFou character, and he just sits there and takes it. I just don't like that kind of relationship.
Okay.
And I know it's for comic relief. And
yes. It's true.
I'm sure as a kid, did that make you laugh, Sarah?
I think as a kid, I didn't really question it. I think it probably made me laugh. But as an adult watching it now, I actually did get a little uncomfortable. Like, why is this guy hitting this guy? And why are they portraying this in a Disney film? Like, I just thought of it on a different level than as a kid, where you don't really take it to that next level.
Right. Now, Joey Pittman had asked Skywalkers on our Facebook group page what they thought of the trailer with a meme of Dave Chappelle as his drugged out character from the Chappelle show named Tyrone Biggums that said, "Hermione, you got any more of them Beauty and the Beast trailers?" He was jonesing for some more Beauty and the Beast trailers. I thought that was funny.
I think he just wants to see Hermione some more.
Well, come on. He's grown into quite an extraordinary young woman.
Yes.
Now, Sarah, did you get Joey's meme with Tyrone Biggums?
I didn't get the guy. Okay. I didn't know who that was.
He was
so
from
what does this mean?
The Chappelle show. It was a character that Dave Chappelle played.
Okay.
Just a very crack addict who was just always twitching because he needs more.
Okay.
So that was the reference there, that this guy needs more Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, so instead he's usually saying, you got any more
drugs?
Drugs? Okay.
Now forget the drugs. He wants more Beauty and the Beast trailers.
Okay, from Hermione. Gotcha.
All right, so now let's read some of these comments.
Okay. Missy Kaya, she says, I am so excited for this. It looks like the movie will follow the animated feature very closely for a change, and I like that, I think. I'm kind of with you. It's like, I think it could do incredible things. And that movie itself is perfect, the original.
Oh yeah.
So to stick close to it makes sense in this way.
When I saw Beauty and the Beast, the animated film back in '92, when it was on DVD or videotape, remember videotape?
Yes, I do.
I wasn't really into Disney, so I was made to watch this, but I was just so amazed at the storytelling. Just incredible. I think that's the film, now that I think about it, really turned me into really appreciating Disney animated films.
Really?
Yeah. Aww. Yeah, so maybe that's why I'm really excited about this new live-action film, and that's why I really want it shouldn't mirror the animated feature, because if it's going to, why bother? But I want to see enough winks and nods to let the audience and fans know that this is someone who really knows the subject matter.
Right.
And really knows and understands the fans.
I think I'm going to be very emotional watching this film.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because the original movie is just such a...
I'm sure. And I know you didn't want to see the whole yellow dress scene, but come on, every little girl in that theater is going to go, I want that toy. I want that toy. So mission accomplished, Disney.
Absolutely.
Now, Joey Pittman, he weighed in on his own post himself and said, I think they showed a lot of the familiar things from the animated film to excite the fans, but there will be some very new and different elements.
I can see that. And, they did show a little of that, like in the Gaston getting people in a frenzy scene. They showed him putting a cart on fire or something, like a bonfire. And that looks totally different and scarier than the original Through the Woods, the darkness and the shadows. One exciting ride. Say a prayer, then we're there. Let's at the castle, and there's something truly terrible inside. It's a beast, killer claws, razor sharp ones. Okay. Speaking of, what do we think of the beast design?
I love the beast design. I love that. I was kind of worried about that at first, but wow, this looks incredible.
Why do you love it?
I love the makeup design.
Okay.
Even though most of it is going to be CG.
Right.
I think he looks scary, but I can see where a very sympathetic look can come from it.
That is exactly why I like it. Because you need to have it's almost like that guy in the class that is not ugly, he's not handsome, he's kind of in between, but once you get to know his personality, he becomes handsome. This is how girls look at guys. So that's how the beast design to me looks. It looks like if we like his personality, we'll fall in love with this beast.
Now I got talking about character design.
Yes.
How do we feel about the Mrs. Potts and gang?
I don't know yet.
I'm hoping
I'm hoping it doesn't take me out of the movie.
I'm hoping these are unfinished renderings.
Really?
Of Chip and Mrs. Potts.
I think Chip and Mrs. Potts are done.
I hope not.
Why?
It looks like 1970s animation where they would just draw rotoscope eyes and a mouth onto a live action subject.
Okay.
Like in Sesame Street, they used to have these trees and they would just animate a moving mouth and eyes on it. It's like, well, you're not fooling anybody. But this looks kind of like that. It's just not grabbing me here.
I think it's cool how it looks like the eyes and the mouth are part of the etching design of the actual, the design itself on the pot.
Right. And I'm sure when we get the DVD, they're going to go through the many iterations it took to get to where they are now.
Oh, exciting.
But I think until then, I'm just not going to be happy with this.
Okay.
That's just me.
I'm surprised they showed Mrs. Potts and Chip. I mean, I could see them showing Lumiere and Cogsworth, but the fact that they showed everyone is like, stop! Don't show us so much. Yeah. But I couldn't help watching.
That's what Heather Hunt said. I feel like they revealed just a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
But welcome to the days of new trailer editing.
Right. Well, and we're definitely going to see this film. I mean, there's no question.
Well, right, yeah. It's getting us excited. Everyone's excited about this.
Yes. Brian Sims, he says, Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars 2 just keep putting out amazing movies. I can't remember a time in my life with this amount of wonderful movies, one after another. Wow. I agree with you, Brian. Like, they just seem to be hitting it out of the park. Although, at the beginning of this year, what was it? We had Alice in Wonderland film.
Nope. Never saw it. Nope. Never saw it. Move on.
I know.
They missed with that one.
Yeah.
So lots of great comments from the Skywalkers, and now just can't wait until March the 17th, which is
a week after my birthday.
Hold on. How many more days until March 17th, 2017? Gotta ask Siri how many more days until. This is a Cliff's Notes version of Cliff's Notes Countdown.
It's 121 days until then.
All right. 121 more days from today, November 17th, until we get to see the whole film.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we didn't just see the whole film in the trailer.
Right.
And now, before we roll into our giant Star Wars Holiday Special Extravaganza episode, where we talk with Steve Bender, the director of the Holiday Special, here is Eliza, the Secret Keeper Peralta, singing A Day to Celebrate, a.k.a. the Princess Leia song, with an arrangement by Rob Dellinger.
The John Williams of podcasting.
Celebrate a day of peace, a day of harmony, a day of joy we can all share together. A day that leads us to mine. A day that makes us celebrate life.
That's it. I'm turning back. I know your family's waiting. I know it's an important day. That's the spirit. You'll be celebrating Life Day before you know it. Stand by. Here's where we say goodbye to our unpleasant friends.
The Star Wars Holiday Special.
On the evening of November 17th, 1978, Star Wars fans were eagerly awaiting the next installment of the Star Wars saga with the Star Wars Holiday Special.
We are very excited to have the director of that special, Steve Binder, with us today as we celebrate the 38th anniversary of the first time we met Chewbacca's family, Boba Fett, and nighttime adult Wookiee entertainment.
I'm getting your message. Are you getting mine?
Steve Binder is also the author of Fade Up 26, The Movers and Shakers of Variety Television.
Hey, Steve.
Thanks for asking me to be on your show. It sounds like we're going to have some fun in the next few minutes.
Oh,
Yes.
You better believe it. I've been waiting to talk to you since, well, November 17th, 1978.
And I wasn't around then, but I'm excited to talk to you too and see what you
Great,
guys
Sarah.
come up with.
Yeah, and we have always been big supporters of the Star Wars Holiday Special over here at Skywalking Through Neverland, and every year we make it a ritual to watch it and celebrate its one-time airing. Now, you came into the production after David Akamba left. Can you tell us why he departed as director and how you got involved?
Well, truthfully, I've never met David, so I'm not going to comment about, how he got hired or why he left or whatever. I understand he was George Lucas's choice when they began the project. All I know is that I received a call from one of the executive producers. It was executive produced by Smith Hemian. Dwight Hemian is a legend in variety television. Unfortunately, passed away a few years ago. But even in my book, 26, there's not a producer or director who doesn't mention his name and have great admiration for his talent. Gary Smith and I actually started working in 1965 on NBC's first rock and roll show called Hullabaloo. Gary was the producer and I was the director when we launched that show. So when I got the call from Gary, he had told me the production had actually shut down at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, and that it was in trouble of basically packing their bags and pulling the plug, and that would be the end of the special. I knew nothing about the special or even the fact that they were doing it when I got the phone call from Gary.
Oh, no.
So it was really a case where he said, look, we shut down the production. I think it was like on a Friday, and he said, and we would love to go back into production, but we're in trouble. We have spent a lot of our budget, and we don't have a director. And would you be interested in meeting me over at Warner Brothers, and we can talk about it and see if you'd like to do it. It never was a question of whether I'd like to do it. I was in awe of the Star Wars movie, the first one, and it was a case of where I was really busy at the time, sandwiched in between two other shows that I was working on. And so I went to Warner Brothers, met with Gary, told me again basically what the situation was. He took me to the stage where the Chewbacca set was. And the first thing I noticed that it was a 360-degree circular set where they lived, and I was curious how they even got cameras into the set.
All right.
So the very first thing I said to Gary was, well, the very first thing we have to do is tear out one of the walls and make it portable so we can bring it in and out, and in that way, when we take it out, we can bring all of our equipment in. Because I understood that they were having problems while they were shooting of physically getting enough equipment and cameras into the physical set. So he said, Steve, we'll work around your schedule. I'd love for you to do it, and think it over and go home and call me back and let me know whether you're in or you're out. So I went home and thought about it. They messengered, which was really a wonderful way to work, but they messengered over to my house about a 30-page backstory from Lucas of the Chewbacca family itself.
Wow.
Because Lucas was, and many actors, directors, and so forth always don't just go from page one on a script and start figuring out the life of the characters and so forth. It happens by creating a whole world of, who they were, where they came from, what their likes and dislikes were, and so forth. And so this was really detailed from George about the Chewbacca family and their history. So I called Gary back and I said, look, if you can handle the fact that I'm not going to be able to edit this show when we finish it, I mean, I do have a window of time where I could come in and physically pick up where you left off and direct it. He said, well, we'll accept those conditions. The great thing was that I not only got to work with the Hemian and Smith hires in the television world of the crew, but also there was the entire cast and a lot of the crew from the movie Star Wars. So this was something I couldn't resist.
Oh, no.
And to be able to walk on a set and, see all these stars of Star Wars and ready, willing, and able, to make this thing happen and continue on. So my experience with it, forgetting, the public's reaction, I loved the entire experience. I learned a whole lot as a director. I got to work with some of the most talented people in Hollywood. And I think the big mistake, if I were to critique it now, the big mistake that was made, that CBS was very anxious to do this with George. George had just acquired, evidently, all of the ancillary rights to the merchandise. So he met, as I've read, I don't know how accurate I am, but he met with one of the biggest toy companies in America, and they agreed to sponsor it, and they wanted basically to do a children's show to sell toys. And it wasn't going to be this multi-million-dollar second Star Wars feature film. It was designed to entertain children so they'd go out and buy all the merchandise. And I think CBS failed in not telling the audience and the public this is the purpose of the show to begin with. And as a result, I think a lot of people tuned in thinking, wow, we've had such an incredible experience in theaters watching Star Wars. This is going to be Star Wars 2, and it couldn't be. It was a variety show with guest stars and a budget not even probably, a tenth or a hundredth of the original film budget. So, and when I came aboard, there was no budget. They had just about blown the entire budget that they had set out to produce the show.
Oh, no.
And even the finale, which you'll know, turned out when I now had the entire cast and about 100 extras, and I said, what's the set going to be to the art director? And he said, we have no set because we have no money. So I told him to go out and buy every candle in Burbank at every retail store, and we loaded the whole stage with candles, lit candles, and it was pretty effective, I thought. It really filled the stage.
Oh, no. Open flames around Wookiees?
Exactly. So, but I can't think of any negatives, I mean, the crew was more than cooperative. The cast was fabulous. You know, I don't. The only thing I was concerned about is the Wookiee characters could only be in those costumes for about 40 minutes of each hour.
Wow.
So we had to get them out of their costumes, give them oxygen. The actress that played the child of the Chewbacca family,
Patty Maloney,
was obviously a little person, an adult, Patty, and I was scared because I think she came in weighing about 65 pounds, and by the time she left, I mean, she had lost a ton of weight, and I was very concerned about her health, you know, but we all survived, and we all had a good time, and you know, it was, as I said, it was a great experience because I got to work with such professional people, and unfortunately, I had nothing to do or say about the finished screenplay. I just had to literally walk in the door and set up the first shot and start shooting.
Oh, no. Do you think CBS was really hoping that fans would think this was Star Wars 2?
Well, I can't get into their heads, but it was definitely a mistake. I mean, if there was any criticism of it, they were saying, you know, why was Diane Carroll and Harvey Korman and Jefferson Starship and so forth, what were they doing on a planet with a Chewbacca family, you know, and Art Carney and so forth. But as a variety show, you know, I had no fault in it. I thought it was pretty well executed, and you know, as you say, aside from you guys, I get tons of inquiries about the special, since I understood that Lucas tried to buy the master and get it off the market forever after he realized what had happened. But he wrote the script, and he was totally involved before. I never met George Lucas. To this day, I've never met George Lucas.
Oh, so you never got any notes from him during production?
Nothing. I just went in, and I had a full schedule every day. We set up, and we met our schedule, and had fun doing it. And, you know, so it was really a case of what they set out to accomplish, I felt we accomplished. And, you know, it was really a case of, you know, taking each scene one at a time, and some of them were pretty complicated, and making it happen with the, you know, within budget and on schedule. So I couldn't ask for anything more as a director. And as I said, I love the people I work with. I love the crew.
Well, was there anyone in particular of the crew that you were like most excited to meet?
Of the cast or the crew?
Yeah, the cast or the crew, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Well, there were a lot of, you know, the Lucas world that were actually on set with us. When we first started shooting, and I had all these Chewbacca costumed actors, and I was told, you know, even though we have dialogue, in fact, I think another mistake, which I probably, you know, had I had the option and had the time and been asked, I would have contributed to saying, don't open the show with 15 minutes of no dialogue and
Wookiee
you know,
rolls.
a lot of, yeah, and I felt that could be very confusing to an audience, and but on the other hand, it was a case of where I was told by his sound effects people who were on board and on set, saying you can't have your actors lip sync any words at all, because we're going to put real bear sounds into their mouths as they're supposedly speaking to each other. And it was a real challenge at that point, you know, for the actors themselves, because as you know, it's when you're doing drama, and this had a lot of drama connected to it, obviously, it had a really strong storyline. It's a case of where you're really directing not the words on a page, you're directing the inner dialogue, and to translate that and make these characters come to life for our special was a challenge not only for myself but for the actors themselves. And I thought they did a wonderful job. I mean, all of them. And it because it was variety and it was really aimed at a variety audience and children and everything, for us to translate that into the home, we had to have a lot of fun on the set ourselves, and I think we did.
I'm sure you had to keep the entertainment and the humor going, just trying to figure out what was really going on there. Now, when you walked in there, did you ask them, so now why is this a variety show?
No, I was told it was a CBS television special aimed at kids, and that's all I was given the information of until I received the script and started laying it out and preparing the various shots and so forth. And it was a multiple camera show. That was one of the big problems because you had to have, 2 or 3 cameras in the set at all times to be able to pick up various shots and so forth. So it needed a lot of flexibility, and it needed and everybody on that staff was a pro. I mean, I'd worked with most of them from the television world on previous shows and specials, and they were creme de la creme. I mean, they were the best people, I felt, certainly on the West Coast, that do these kinds of shows.
Sure. And even when Mark Hamill was asked by George Lucas to do this, and he gave Mark Hamill the rundown, Mark said, nothing about this is Star Wars, George. Are you sure you want to go through with this?
Yeah, and I think George's motivation, he took a big gamble on making the Star Wars movie. From what I understand, 20th Century Fox initially rejected the movie before it even went into theaters and told George they didn't want to put up any additional monies even to finish the movie. And that's how George finagled getting all the toy rights and the ancillary merchandising rights, because he said, then I'll come up with the money myself, but you got to give me all these rights. Well, that decision by George, was unbelievable, because I'm sure in the long run, he made a lot more money himself than 20th Century Fox did just distributing the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, just selling Darth Vader toys, he made more money than what he made off the movie itself.
Exactly.
So he made a great decision there. Now, do you recall what scenes you directed, and which scene was your favorite?
Well, the only ones that I didn't do, which I wish I did do, was the bar scene. Obviously, I had nothing to do with the animation segment, but the rest of them took place, and we had all these costumes that made it really difficult for the stunt people to actually see when I asked them to run downstairs and do physical stunts and so forth. But, as I say, it all came together. I mean, I have edited all of my shows from the day I started directing, and this is the only show I can say that, unfortunately, I was not able to pitch in and do the post-production on it and edit it and everything, because I might have gone a different direction, because, as we all know, editing is key to any production. You can make or break any show by the editing itself, and I understand that the producers ended up having that task, and I understand they had never really edited anything previous to that.
Right.
So it was a real experience for them with the editors that they used, and the editors are obviously top-notch too.
If you were able to go in there and edit it, how would you have made it different? Would you have cut out some of the musical numbers?
No, absolutely not. I think they were, as a variety show, they were the strength of the show. I mean, I loved working with all the variety characters, and Harvey I had worked with when I directed a few episodes of the Danny Kaye Show when he was a regular on that. Diane Carroll I had worked with and admired her, and there was another case where we had no money for scenery when we shot Diane, but she did a terrific job, and so the variety elements of the show, I did not do the Starship. And I thought, I actually thought the original director did a pretty fair job in the segments that he did do. I think he ran into more of a problem of budget than anything else. That he was not used to multiple camera directing, from what I understand. And, television is all about time and budget. I mean, if you can't get your scene shot in time, you'll have a tough time getting your next job, and it's not like making a movie where you can do, if you have to, 10, 20 takes or whatever. This, you've got to take 2 takes and move on. I mean, that's
right.
the way it has to be in order to finish the project.
Yeah, it sounds like David directed the segments, whereas you directed the overall story with Chewbacca and the Life Day scenes. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And I did, some of the variety, but David did some as well, and I thought he did a pretty good job of what he did.
Yeah. Now going back to what you were saying about Diane Carroll, let's talk about her adult-only entertainment segment. Did anyone else on the set think that maybe this is a little risque for kids who might be watching?
Oh, we are excited, aren't we?
Not that I recall.
Wow.
Compared to, that was 38 years ago? I mean, compared to 2016, there was nothing on that show that was R-rated or not acceptable for kids, by today's standards.
Yeah, just watching Itchy having a good time watching Diane Carroll sing and dance around and make suggestive comments. I know it made me a little uncomfortable even today.
Really, as a kid?
No, as a kid, I had no idea what she was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Or what Itchy was doing. But today, it's one of those segments that if I'm watching with someone, I want to maybe have them look away.
It's the new virtual reality experience.
Yeah. But
exactly. No, but I think in general, I mean, as I look at the show, and I can't say that I paid a lot of attention to, what is going to be the audience reaction. I was trying to do the best job I could do as a director, get it shot, get it finished, get it broadcast, because there was a time when CBS said they were going to pull the plug and not even broadcast it. So I'm glad we did it. And I did get, somebody sent me years ago, if I said 38 years, it would probably be 35 years ago. Somebody sent me a comic book based on the holiday special and, raving about it. So it's all in the eye of the beholder. But I think most, kids, especially if they're selling, toys, I think the bulk of the show would have gone right over their heads, to be honest with you. They would have just watched it because of all the buzz about Star Wars and the costuming and the physical action and so forth, and obviously such a great cast that, I think at this point, it's a lot different than when I produced Pee-wee's Playhouse, for a few years. So, and that was basically a parody of all children's shows on television in the early days, and appealing to young people who have, fresh imaginations and love that kind of stuff. So I think there was a whole element of an audience, as many who said, what happened to, why wasn't it a big production movie? But I think there's a side of the audience that really appreciated that it was done and really kind of, like you've expressed, I mean, loved watching it. And, it was sort of, it was camp. I mean, that's all I can use to describe it.
Yeah, whenever I'm telling new fans about the Star Wars Holiday Special and they say, well, I didn't hear such great things about it, I'll tell them, no, you got to watch it in the eyes of someone who is in 1978. You can't watch it from a 2016 point of view. You've got to watch it from a 1978 perspective, because back then, those variety shows were it. Those were the big shows on all the networks.
No question about it. And I'll tell you that Smith Hemian, who were the executive producers of the show, we're friends, still are. I'm still very good friends with Gary. Unfortunately, Dwight passed away a few years ago, but the quality of their work in variety television is second to none. I mean, they did the great specials with Liza Minnelli and Brezhnikov and Tom Jones, and they just had a whole reputation for quality work. And so if I left that production with them feeling I helped save the show, and we're glad they did it, then I certainly, take my hat off to everybody who was involved in it. And I can't think of one, even minor confrontation where anybody on the set during the entire production was complaining about anything. I mean, we were all professionals doing our job and getting it done.
Let's take a quick break from our discussion with Steve Binder, the director of the Star Wars Holiday Special, to hear a clip from Yahoo News where Star Wars stars from The Force Awakens share memories.
And raves.
Do you think we'll ever see another Star Wars Holiday Special?
Not if I have anything to say about it. And if I have anything to say about it, you won't see the first one. What an embarrassment.
I think they should, because it's good for kids.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. My nephew would love it.
Yeah.
I think it should be an opera.
Yes.
Let's just take it big scale.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm getting your message. Are you getting mine? Oh.
I've seen some bits and pieces.
Are you a fan?
Yeah.
It's great, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's a bad rep.
It's really, really good.
No, it's awful. No, I mean, it's not awful in a good way. And that song that I sing, we celebrate a day of peace, a day of harmony.
Could you see the current cast doing a Star Wars Holiday Special? No?
Well,
I would suggest then that old popular holiday favorite, the Bantha Rump.
Maybe there's a version that none of us can imagine that would be genius.
Yeah.
In Oscar Isaac, we have an incredible singer. Daisy and John are both really talented singers, and so the three of them would be fantastic.
Say that again.
It had its positives. You got to meet Chewbacca's family. It introduced Boba Fett as a character. Maybe I was too young to fully grasp it.
Stop.
Now, I'm all on board with Gwendolyn Christie's idea of making the Star Wars Holiday Special into a space opera.
Right?
I would so be all over that. Now, back with Star Wars Holiday Special director, Steve Binder. How was the Star Wars cast with doing this? Did they have a good time on the set? Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford?
They were mostly, I kind of remember a lot of the conversations were revolving about them because Star Wars, the movie, was such a huge international hit motion picture and still is. I mean, it's iconic. They were all concerned about, because most of them had done the movie for minimum wages, and we're all wondering, because of this huge success, were they ever going to get any percentage points in the profits? And sure enough, George turned out and gave some of them small pieces of the film in as far as the economical structure of the show and so forth, which is very rare in this business. Usually after the fact, whatever deals you made, you have to kind of live with. Yeah. But I think he went out of his way to please his cast.
Oh, he did? He gave 0.25% to Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher, and they made more off of that percentage than they did what they had made off of their salary.
Wow.
And gave Alec Guinness 0.75%.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's very generous from any producer, and I admire that, and feel exactly the same way. I mean, everybody thinks that everybody in the film industry, if their names are recognizable and so forth, they're making a ton of money and they're living the high life. The truth is they're not. No. I mean, there are people working in this entertainment business who earn less than secretaries at a bank, but they love the business so much they sacrifice the material for the aesthetic, and I really appreciate that.
How were the guest stars to work with? I know B. Arthur had said that she had no idea she was making a Star Wars project, and I don't know why. Because
B Pete turned out to be a good friend, but I didn't do that segment. David did, and he did a good job with that.
But how about everyone else?
A lot of actors don't even look at the script in total. I mean, they just take it scene by scene. So that could be a possibility. But I would say on the set, I communicated most with obviously the Chewbaccas and Harrison. Harrison was very congenial, and in fact, I remember running into him maybe a year after I shot it, and he remembered me and knew my name, and we had a nice conversation. And so I just sensed, without question, his career would really take off from that and become this iconic dramatic actor that is very special. And the talent was obviously obvious once I worked with him. I mean, I knew he was really special.
Wow.
But
a lot of reviewers will say that Harrison Ford just looks so angry and frustrated throughout every scene in the holiday special, but I don't see that. I see him being in the moment and being Han Solo that we just saw in Star Wars. I don't see a frustrated actor.
I agree with you, and if he came off looking angry, that was my fault, not his.
Well, I think that's just
he
Han
certainly
Solo.
didn't play it for that, and we had a lot of fun shooting it, and he was very, very congenial and happy all the way through it, to my knowledge.
Oh, that's cool.
Every scene he just looked like he was so in the moment. So I never understood what these reviewers were talking about, but who cares about them?
Well, the truth of the matter is, when you're directing, and I'm not out there to please. I hate to say this, but it's true. I'm not out there to please millions of people. I mean, I'm focused on, I want to please me. I want to get the job done the best way I can do it. I feel if I'm happy with a scene, there's got to be a lot of people like me out there who feel the same way. So, from the beginning of my career to even now, I just put everything I've got into any production that I do and hope for the best when it comes to, when it airs, it's out of your hands. I mean, it's in the publicity department and the promotion department and the time slot you're in if you're in television and so forth. So you have very little control. If you're the show following the Academy Award broadcast, you're going to end up with a successful show with big ratings, et cetera. Afterwards, it may have nothing to do with the quality of the show.
Right. Yeah.
If
you're trying to please a million people, your head will explode. It's never going to happen.
Well, and you can't. I mean, years ago, when I first started my career, I did a series of jazz shows called with Steve Allen and Oscar Brown Jr. called Jazz Scene USA. And the sponsors of the shows preceding and after hated the show because, the audiences weren't as big as the shows that were appealing to mass audiences. But, our sponsors were saying, who were big jazz fans, saying, just make every person who loves jazz music in America love it, and we'll be very happy. And I think we scored a home run with the series. We did 26 half hours with some of the greatest jazz artists in the history of American music, and Stan Kenton's big band and Nancy Wilson and so forth. And it was a case of where, I never thought everybody's going to love these shows, but I knew anybody who loved music and loved jazz music especially and specifically would love this series. And they did.
Oh yeah, I think if viewers or listeners can hear your passion in a project, they're right there because you'll make it so much fun and enjoyment to watch. And I think that comes across.
Well, variety to me is eye candy, and that's one of the reasons I wanted. I felt one of the most unheralded group of producers and directors in the entertainment business were variety people, and that it was sort of the elephants and the clowns in a circus where we were always sort of, the filler between the big dramatic shows and so forth and so on. So I wanted everybody to get their due. I think television especially owes its entire life on the great comedians and singers and so forth in the early days of television, along with the dramatic hits like Playhouse 90 and Climax and so forth. But I love the entertainment business because I love walking into a room with a blank piece of paper, like an author writing a script or a book, and you've got to use your imagination with a lot of people around you and pick everybody's brain and come up where you have a beginning, middle, and end. And I think it's amazing to see some of these productions that you just sit there smiling and even taking a show in prime time like The Voice today. I mean, you think about it, The Voice was a format that was originated before television existed. Probably there was a show probably in the 1930s called Major Bowles Talent Amateur Hour or something, and you put 10 or 20 singers on a stage, and then you create the mood and the atmosphere around them that really makes it where it holds your attention for a solid hour, where you're totally, you end up like at a sporting event, you're rooting for your favorite singers and so forth. And I think that's the success of the show. Even though the biggest stars on those shows turn out to be the professional talent they hire as judges.
Right. Yeah.
So, when you compare where television has come in terms of even the technical side with all the phenomenal, lighting effects and all the Klieg lights and it just adds it's scenery and it's eye candy. And not that I think any show can succeed or exist on the background. I mean, you still got to deliver the heart and soul of any project. And for me, music is like drama. I mean, I listen to those lyrics very closely when I'm mounting a show, and they are the words that motivate the script, so that we do have a main theme and an objective when we begin a variety special, where we have a beginning, middle, and an end. So, it's always been a challenge for me, and a positive one, to say, wow, we just created that out of thin air, and look what we ended up with. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love those old variety shows too. Yeah.
Now, I know that you, of course, have worked in the variety shows, and you have a new book out now. Can you tell us a little bit about Fade Up 26, The Movers and Shakers of Variety Television?
Yeah, well, when I first started the project, and I co-wrote it with a wonderful college professor at the University of Indiana, Pennsylvania, and she approached it where we were going to write a textbook, which we did, and we brought in 25 of my peers that are kind of a who's who of anybody that, if you've watched television, Tommy Smothers did the foreword, and he said, "You may not know these guys by name and gals, but I assure you, you'll know all the shows that they produced and directed." And it is an impressive talent list of, myself. I kind of zeroed in on a special I did in the 1960s before I did the Elvis Presley comeback special in '68. But that year, I also did a Petula Clark, Harry Belafonte special, and it broke the color line in American television, in variety television. It was an incident on the show where Petula reached over, this blonde, blue-eyed, incredible woman, and she touched Harry Belafonte on the forearm in a very emotional anti-war song.
Wow.
And next thing you know, both of them have tears in their eyes, and the next thing you know, it's front page news in Newsweek and Time Magazine, and the sponsor made the biggest mistake of his life, or the representative of the sponsor, I should say, because he had objected when I booked Harry on the show to begin with, and didn't want a black person on the show. So when Harry did do it, and Petula and he sang and physically touched, which was something that in 1968 I was shocked that anybody would object to that. And next thing you know, it became an international incident and made news. And when I did do Elvis Presley and put together a Puerto Rican choreographer and a black choreographer and a United Nations cast of every race and color and religion, and we became, to this day, nobody said anything negative, and it became iconically one of the great television specials of all time. And everybody in this book, from the late Marty Pacetta, who did Elvis in Hawaii, the Academy Awards, to George Stevens Jr., Gary Smith, it just went on and on, of all 25 who so generously committed to telling their special stories on the shows that they did. And so it turned out very wonderful, because I knew everybody socially over the years, obviously, but I didn't know anything about them when it came to being on their sets and watching them direct or produce or work with people. And it was such an honor and a pleasure to be reading in this book, which not only became a textbook, but a book available to the public without the educational material in it. But it was an incredible experience for me as a reader to just read about all these guys' life stories and what they feel about the business and their craft and how they got in the business and so forth. I think any student of television, whether you get in the business or you just watch it on your tube or your iPhone or whatever, will appreciate the talent of all these people and what they brought to the table and still bring to the table every single day.
Wow.
Are there any Star Wars Holiday Special anecdotes in there?
That may be the next book.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't recall specifically whether I mentioned it or not, but I've done hundreds of shows. I do multiple Diana Ross specials, and I started with Steve Allen, which was 5 nights a week, 90 minutes a night, in the old Westinghouse show. I've just had the opportunity to work with so many stars and so many projects that I've just, truthfully speaking, most people get up in the morning and they can't wait to get off work so they can go have fun. I hate to get off work to this day. I love what I do and I love the people, and it's always hit me as, wow, I'm so lucky to be in such a creative industry and contribute.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Now, with the holidays coming up, are you working on any more Christmas specials?
What I'm doing right now is going to make a motion picture. I bought the rights with my partner, who's very iconic in the music industry and the film industry, Spencer Proffer. And we bought a book by Alana Nash on Simon & Schuster called The Colonel. And we're about to announce it. We have a very famous producer, director, writer who is committed to the project. And we're going to do the story of Colonel Parker, who is Elvis Presley's manager.
Yeah.
So that's really focused a lot of my time. I'm coming out with a new version. I wrote a book on Elvis Presley and my experience on the 1968 comeback special. But at that time, it was about 10 years ago. I was doing it as a favor to the publisher and the Elvis Presley estate, and decided to really dig deep. So I'm reworking that book right now, and that's taking a lot of my time as well. But I'm, at this point, I was supposed to do a Diana Ross special in Washington, D.C. this year. Diana and I decided that it was too hurried and rushed, and let's wait till next year to do it. So I'm still have my hands in the industry, and
wow.
I don't know how much longer I can keep going, because I started in this industry in my 20s, and I think there are a lot of young, talented people out there who want our jobs and deserve them. I think we've been in the business long enough and have had such great experiences and credits and so forth. And to me, it was always, what was important to me was always the work. I didn't socialize a lot and go to parties and so forth. I spent most of my time at home with my family or working on a specific project.
Right.
Well, yeah, it sounds like, I mean, you love creating, and it's kind of a drug once you're doing it.
It is a drug, and I'll tell you, anybody who achieves any kind of fame or success, there's a balancing act you have to live by in terms of your family and your work, and it takes years to learn that balance. And I sure would like a shot at reliving my life when my kids were really little at the time, and I know how many times I wasn't home for them and for dinner and so forth and so on because I was working. And so it's really if you really get that opportunity for success and you can really work in your profession, it is a drug. And there were times I would go to work and I didn't want the day to end. I just wanted to keep going and going and going. I was known for, when I went into my post-production and editing, burning out guys 20 years younger than myself or 30 years younger. I would end up having through a day maybe 2 or 3 editors where I would just be fresh as a daisy starting in the morning because I loved doing what I was doing so much.
Yeah, and here you are almost 4 decades later talking about something you did in 1978.
Well, that was contemporary to some of the shows that I did. I go back to Soupy Sales, throwing the pies and so forth. So,
well, I'm sure there's a Soupy Sales podcast out there who'd love to talk to you about those stories.
Yeah, those are great days. I actually left Soupy because I got so upset with. I was doing a daytime show for KABC 5 days a week in the afternoon, and we had this huge high school type college audience that were rushing home to see the Soupy Sales show. It was basically built around dirty jokes without the punchlines, but all the kids knew the punchlines anyway. When I first started in the industry, all I wanted to do was, I was in pre-med at USC, believe it or not.
Wow.
I'd come home from the service. I was in the Army during the Korean War, but I was fortunate to be stationed in Germany and Austria as a radio announcer for the American Forces Network. And when I came home, a friend of mine said, "Hey, Steve, if you want to meet a lot of pretty girls," I wasn't married at the time, obviously. He said, "Get a job at a studio and you'll see tons of them walking around." And so while I was waiting to get back into college, I took a summer job in the mailroom at KABC, and I never thinking it was going to be my life profession, but it was really a case of where when I was doing Soupy, just to finish that story, we were so successful that we went on primetime on the network, on ABC network. And when the executive in charge of directors for the network found out this local young kid was doing the daytime show and was given the nighttime show to do, I did, I think, 3 or 4 of them. He said, "I've got to get a network director in here and replace him." So they brought in, who turned out to be a good friend of mine, Bob Henry, who was a network director, who called me to say, "How do you direct Soupy Sales?" And I spent an hour on the phone with him explaining it. But I got so upset because they said, "You can keep doing your local show, but you don't get to do the network show." I quit. And fortunately for me, my stage manager, Jimmy Baker at ABC, was in tight with Steve Allen. Steve wanted to produce a jazz series. He hired me to do the Jazz Scene USA series at CBS with the Playhouse 90 crew. And then in the middle of my shooting the jazz show, he made his deal with Westinghouse to do this late night Steve Allen show. And I initially turned him down saying, "I'm doing your other show, I'm too busy." And he said, "Well, get this one started and I'll replace you," which he obviously did 2.5 years later. But it turned out during that period of time, I said, I was born to do this. I love it, and I'm going to stay with it. So it turned out very fortunate for me.
Absolutely.
Have you ever been approached about appearing at a Star Wars Celebration convention to tell your Star Wars Holiday Special stories? The fans would just love to hear so many of these stories that you have.
The only time I was approached, they were going to do some kind of a screening of it, and they asked if I would come to the old silent movie theater on Fairfax Boulevard in Hollywood, and it never materialized. I heard they had so many requests for people to come, they canceled it, saying they couldn't handle all the people that wanted to see it. And I was willing to come and talk, but I haven't done anything regarding this at all.
Huh.
Wow.
We may have to tell some of the people over there at Lucasfilm about you and how much fun you are to talk to and how many stories you have. And I can tell you have a passion for the industry and a passion for the fans and a passion for wanting people to laugh and smile.
Well, I've always thought of myself as somebody who, loves to be a fan. My approach if I'm doing a dramatic film, I think everybody who watches it can identify with one of the characters that the actor plays. They're either the villain, the hero, the heroine, or whatever. In approaching music on television, I just wanted to put myself into the front row in the audience watching them, and I always kept that in mind and keep it in mind as I'm shooting these stars. I don't think many people think of themselves as being Diana Ross or Bruce Springsteen or whoever, but they certainly can relate to, wow, I went to their concert, I saw them in person and things like that. So that's what I really approached the business as. I am a fan.
Yeah. Maybe we can get you and Peter Mayhew and reunite you two and talk about the stories and maybe get Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, Peter was great. I had a good time talking to him and working with him.
Oh.
Yeah, he just seems like a big barrel of Wookiee. I'm not sure what that means, but it seems like somebody you want to go over there and just hug and maybe Patty Maloney. And I've been trying to get Patty Maloney for the show for years, and I tracked down her address, but I don't really want to go that route. And tried calling her and calling friends of friends, but she's just elusive.
Well, Patty, I've lost touch with her, and I'm embarrassed for it because I like Patty so much. I even go back to having done a couple of episodes of Gilligan's Island, and I met Patty early on, and I'm sorry that I haven't kept in touch. I really admire her. I think at the time she was actually dating Bob Denver when I was doing Gilligan's. So, but I think she has a lot to talk about and say, and I'd love to regroup with her and Peter.
That would be great. You know what? When we're later on, I will send you her phone number and address.
I appreciate it. I'd love it.
All
well,
right.
now, if any of the listeners out there are Skywalkers, they want to reach out to you and talk to you on social media. Is there a place they can contact you?
I think if they contact me through Jeff Abraham, who's my dear friend and publicist, I think he could figure it all out. And I'm just. I don't even live in Los Angeles anymore. I live about an hour and 30 minutes out of there on the beach. So I've become kind of a beach bum as well. I don't say I'm retired yet. I'm still holding out on that. But, I think you've got to wake up every morning having a goal and a purpose. And I think that's what life's all about. And I'm just about open to anything as long as it has a positive message. I'm an optimist. I always have been. I see the glass as half filled rather than half empty.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're slowing down at all.
Yeah, you're definitely perfect for this show.
Well, it's fun talking to you.
All right, Steve. Well, thank you very much for being on Skywalking Through Neverland and sharing these stories I've wanted to hear for almost 4 decades now.
Well, I'm glad I was able to connect with you, and it's been a lot of fun talking to you and your wife, for sure.
Well, thank you. And a big shout out to your friend and publicist, Jeff, for making this happen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A big thanks to Jeff Abraham of the Jonas PR firm for hooking us up with Steve Bender. Much, much appreciated, and thank you for making a 40-year-old dream come true. And my best friend from childhood, Jim Pruitt, for finding that Yahoo Movies clip. Big shout out to him. He found a lot of other clips too, but that was the one that really says it all because you get stars from the past and the present. Now, there was one thing I did not talk to Steve about, and that was the infamous Lumpy scene where the Imperial Guard comes in and rips the head off of the toy stuffed bantha. Even today, that brings a tear to my eye. In fact, that scene meant so much to me that we even included it in our Star Wars short film, TPZ. So here is a clip where we reference the Star Wars Holiday Special in the tear-jerking Lumpy bantha scene.
Death threat was just sent to the Empire.
Somebody threatened the Empire?
Well, no one knows for sure who it is, but it is suspected to be the son of Chewbacca the Wookiee, that's now part of the rebellion, who has a son called Lumpa-Wumpa-Rump, or Lumpy for short.
Wait.
Mr. Gotcha.
Nope, not you.
Joe's German.
No.
Yeah, you got it, man. That's it.
It's spell check.
Lumpy it is. So he's following in the footsteps of his father.
Well, you would think, but he calls himself the Bantha Avenger. We got a hold of security pictures from our Imperial insider from when the Empire raided Chewbacca's home on Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk. And a guard is going through Lumpy's stuff and rips the head off of a stuffed toy Bantha.
That is so mean. He's just a kid.
Yeah, it's never wise to upset a Wookiee. Everyone knows that.
Shoutouts, Skywalker shoutouts. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who was tweeted out? Shout out. Who was photobombed? Shout out. Who was shared a post? Shout out.
First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Sarah Beth Pollock. We met her at Mile 5 on the Doctor Strange 10K. And you know where Mile 5 was?
I'm going to say at Star Wars Land.
Yes, it was right at the backside of Star Wars Land, much like the backside of water.
Yeah.
And
that was the place where they said you can't take photos.
Right, so we used taking a selfie with her as a great excuse to take a picture of the Star Wars Land construction from that angle, which you don't get to see very often.
Yeah,
only when you're running.
She was so sweet. She came over and said, I follow you guys.
I know, and she has been following us for quite a while, so it was super exciting to meet her. And so thank you, Sarah Beth, for shouting out to us as we were all running.
Yes, once again, I really like when people come over and say that because it says that we're doing our job.
Yeah, and we usually have buttons for you guys, which we did.
We had a lot of buttons.
We did for Sarah Beth.
We had so many buttons that weighed us down.
Absolutely. And Randy Crane says he saw us taking that picture. That's right.
The circle is now complete.
Absolutely. Now, in our Facebook group, Denise Steele, she posted the cutest thing. She said, I am certain my neighbors must think I'm crazy. During my daily walks, Skywalking Through Neverland is my go-to podcast. I often laugh and talk out loud in response to some of the discussions. There are a lot of porch sitters in my neighborhood that give me very strange looks.
Are they strange looks, or are they saying, hey, we want to hear that too? Where
I
can I get a
know.
BB-8 button?
Right? Yeah, Denise, we should send you some buttons. Give them all.
Want to know what I'm listening to? Here you go.
Yeah. Oh.
So thank you, Denise, for that.
We loved that post.
That's awesome. When Sarah, when you read that tweet, it made me giggle.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Skywalker selfies. Remember, everyone, to take your Skywalker selfie. And I want to say that Dennis Keithley tweets one every week, usually on his walking commute. So, Skywalkers, let's see those selfies. Do it now. All right. Pause. Take your phone out of your pocket and go click.
Except if you're driving.
Except if you're driving, wait till a stoplight.
Go ahead.
All right. And then tweet at us at SkywalkingPod and hashtag Skywalker selfie. And yay, we'll see all those.
Yes.
And we love seeing those. And tell us what you're doing or where you are. And that's always fun.
I think the only one who takes a selfie while they're driving is Rick Peralta.
Yes. And he's going to send you the insurance bill. Well, we want to remind you to take your Skywalker selfies, and we also want to remind you that we have a rockin' Facebook group with no drama, just fun and family. And
Channel Worms opened. Channel Worms opened.
Yeah, I know. So there's some recent Star Wars groups that have imploded in the past week because of the election posts and stuff. Well, our group, we are election free. We don't talk politics. We don't have bad language. We just have a wonderful family of listeners that discuss Star Wars and Disney. And they also plan their own meetups and trips to Disney parks and just generally get along. It's a wonderful place to be. It's a closed group on Facebook. So if you guys would like to join and have not yet, please just head to Facebook and search Skywalking Facebook group, and it should pop up and you can request to join. And then please send us a message or an email, a message to our Facebook page, and say, hey, I want to join the group. I'm not a spammer. And you guys have done that, and it's very cute. And we love that. And once we know that you're a listener to the show, we will let you in the group where we can all be family.
Yes. And talking about family, we have a family member who deserves a Skywalker of the Week, which is long, long overdue.
Russell Flores.
Russell Flores.
Congratulations, Russell. We can't believe you have not been Skywalker of the Week yet.
Yeah, I don't know who to blame, but let's just not mention names here at all.
No. Or we're going to have not have a Tatooine kitchen.
So, Russell, there you go. Long overdue, but I hope you enjoy.
Yes.
Your jingle by Rob Dellinger.
That's right. So John Williams of podcasting. All right, Periscope walkers, don't tell Russell, okay?
Yeah.
Silence.
Silence is golden.
Skywalking through Neverland.
Hey guys, this is Matt Clifton at the Final 1884 on Twitter, and this is my Skywalker moment. I was attending DragonCon 2016 this weekend at a Star Wars Rebels panel, and was just sitting down attending the panel, and the person sitting behind me was wearing a Skywalking Through Neverland shirt, and I immediately recognized him as John Liang, Wanjan, Jedi from Periscope and Twitter, and this was the first time that we had met each other. So I knew he was attending DragonCon, and he knew I was the same. So that was our first time meeting each other, and we got to attend the panel together. So it was pretty cool, and that's my Skywalking moment.
So now let's continue on with our Star Wars Holiday Special Extravaganza. And while doing some research before talking to Steve Binder, the director, I found a lot of stuff I didn't know about the Star Wars Holiday Special.
What?
I know. So I made a list, and now here are 13 things you may not know about the Star Wars Holiday Special.
All right, hit me.
All right, now, according to co-writer Leonard Rips, Lucas's idea was basically for a Wookiee Rosh Hashanah.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have any other information rather than a Rosh Hashanah theme or life, an Earth Day, but I thought that was interesting. I didn't know if they had a...
Okay.
I don't know where to take that one, but it was interesting enough to make a note of it.
All right.
Now, another interesting thing that I didn't know, that Leonard Rips had also said that he and Pat Proft had written for the show Shield and Yarnell.
Ah.
I'm hearing crickets, Sarah.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Shield and Yarnell, they were mimes. Back in the 70s, they had a show where they would just mime. Very, very popular. So now you can see how this all fits in, where, okay,
the Wookiees.
Who is going to write for a show that has no dialogue?
Right.
Like the mimes, who's got no dialogue. Then let's get these guys to write for the holiday special, because 90% of it is just Wookiee growls.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting, and I just love saying Shield and Yarnell. Brings me back.
Oh.
Now, Stan Winston, I knew he had worked on the Wookiee costumes, but he had also done most of the work on set for the Wookiees. Now, Stan Winston, as we all know, did movies like Jurassic Park and Terminator. He got his own studio, but this was when he was just a little effects guy working his way up in the industry. And And I saw some pictures of him working on these Wookiee suits, and it was just incredible. I didn't know how much work he had done on it, but apparently he'd done pretty much everything.
Wow.
Under the Tom Berman studios.
Okay.
And I used to work with Tom Berman. How I didn't know that he did the holiday special, I don't know.
Wow.
Now, going back to Leonard Rips for our next Things You Ought to Know.
This is number 4.
Number 4. Now, Lucas had told Leonard Rips that Han Solo was married to a Wookiee.
What?
But they couldn't mention it because it would be too controversial.
What? Wait a second.
So that was...
When did he say this?
I guess in
why?
an early story meeting.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but why tell me that if we can't mention it?
Yeah.
So I want to see some renderings of these, of a picture, of a wedding picture, Skywalkers.
Said Disney Unipod. Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah, that's odd.
All right, number 5.
And like we were saying with Steve Binder, B. Arthur had no idea that she was part of a whole Star Wars thing when she did her cantina scene.
Yeah.
And she just says, I just remember singing to a bunch of people with funny heads. Now, I've held her script because her son is a friend of mine. And every Halloween, he would have a party and he would always show me his mom's Star Wars Holiday Special script. So I've held it in my hand where it said Star Wars Holiday Special.
But, she probably just went to her part. Okay, Akmina, and
like
just...
Steve had said, a lot of actors don't even look at the front page. They just go right to it. I just thought that was interesting that she didn't know what she was doing.
Okay.
And like we had also mentioned to Steve that Mark Hamill also had a singing part in the Star Wars Holiday Special. I don't even know what to say about that. Because he's always said that he's like the worst singer in the world.
Oh no.
Even though he's done Broadway, I guess he's had some singing lessons. But okay, Princess Leia, I can almost... Yeah, she has a singing number. All right, leave it at that. But 2 singing numbers. I would love to see what happened if they had said, Harrison, you got a great idea. A great idea. You are going to do a singing... Harrison, come back. Harrison! You would just walk out the door.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, Michael Hirsch, for our next Things You Ought to Know about the Star Wars Holiday Special, Michael Hirsch, who is the co-founder of Nelvana, he said that the cartoon, the Boba Fett cartoon, was going to be something that they were thinking about doing more of in the future. So it was like a testing ground for a Star Wars cartoon.
Huh.
Now, this didn't really actually happen until 7 years later with the Droids and Ewoks Adventure Hour. But I want to know what happened. Lucas was very much into animation. So I'm wondering what really, really happened with that. And the variety show thing, Lucas, wasn't really excited about, but he kind of just walked away. But he was excited about the Boba Fett cartoon.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Yeah. So
maybe he just got busy doing the actual films. I mean, if you think about it.
Right, but I'm sure he would have just told Nelvana, like with the Ewoks and droids, here you go, here's my okay, now run with it. So there's a story there I want to ask Lucas about. Can you get him on the phone?
Right away?
No, hold on, we got more show to do. All right, now, the style of animation from that Boba Fett cartoon, let's just call it the Boba Fett cartoon,
right,
was modeled after French artist Jean Mobius
Gerard. Huh.
Yeah, and if you remember, the Void episodes of the Clone Wars was based around the whole Mobius style. So Lucas really
I hate the Mobius style.
You do?
I think so.
Oh.
Those Void episodes?
Yeah.
Is that the ones with the droids?
The droids in Gascon.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. I'm alone on that one.
Okay.
Now, something else that Nelvana...
Now, what is Nelvana?
Nelvana is the company that produced the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
They produced that cartoon, and they produced the Droids and Ewoks cartoon.
Okay.
So Michael Hirsch, the co-founder of Nelvana, said they were talking with Lucas about doing a cartoon Star Wars series, or just maybe a series with Lucas, not Star Wars, that focused on the Bee Gees.
Okay, I'm assuming nothing ever came of this?
Nothing ever came of this.
Wow.
But maybe they had seen the movie Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band starring the Bee Gees, and they said, no, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. That was one of those things that I said, that's got to make the list.
Wow.
Got to make the list. Now that I think about it, I kind of want to see that now.
All right, what is next? What number are we on? 10?
Now, George Lucas said that the project, the holiday special, just kept getting reworked and reworked and reworked. Like we'll hear next week from Craig Miller, who talks a little bit about this.
Yes.
Moving away into more of a bizarre land. Now, the producers were trying to make one kind of thing, and Lucas was trying to make another kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is you got filmmakers and TV producers together, and the two, unlike a Reese's peanut butter cup, they just don't go well together.
No, it's not. It wasn't peanut butter and chocolate.
No, it was like peanut butter and motorcycles
And Brussels sprouts.
and gasoline and just things that just don't go together.
Yes.
And it became a hybrid of the two. And I think that right there is the reason why the Star Wars Holiday Special for most doesn't work. Just because it was just a mishmash of too many different things and styles and ideas, and filmmakers, they want to do one shot and get it just right. TV producers like go.
Yeah.
How
many setups can we do in a day?
in an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting to learn. Now, moving right along, the Wookiees in the Life Day scene at the end, the ones that were wearing the red Snuggies.
Yes.
Guess what else they were wearing?
They were wearing Wookiee slippers.
Yes, but I'm going to say no on that. They were
Okay.
wearing Dawn Post Chewbacca masks.
Whoa!
Why didn't we know this when we talked to Dawn Post for a Halloween episode? Oh my God. I don't think even Dawn Post knew this.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, so like Steve Bender had said, they had run out of money. They had not a cent to spare for this, but apparently they could afford the extra candles and about 65 Wookiee masks from Dawn Post Studios. Oh, I wish I had known that. I wish I had known that. And once again, like Steve Bender had mentioned, that by the end of the production, everyone had walked away. They had gone on to other projects and just said, we're done with it. So the editing was left up to Ken and Mitzi Welch, who were the songwriters for the show and they're music producers. Now we're having them edit this whole Star Wars project.
Yeah, why couldn't Lucas have stepped in or something?
Yeah, that to me.
Come on, where's Marsha Lucas?
They did the best they could with what they had.
Yeah.
But I'm having a hard time getting my head around the fact that CBS and Lucasfilm would just throw their hands up in the air and say, okay, you go ahead and do it. But that's what happened, and this is what we got.
Okay.
A show that I love, okay?
All right, what's the 13th
All
thing?
right, now, finally, Lucasfilm and Kenner, they had produced prototype action figures of Chewie's family, of Mala, Itchy, and Lumpy, but they were never released. And I believe that maybe Gus Lopez has got these prototypes.
Oh.
Yeah, so pretty much they got the Chewbacca dolls, the action figures, and with Mala, they sculpted some breasts on there, and with Itchy, they just painted gray.
Right.
And Lumpy, they just cut off his legs and made short, stubby legs.
Oh.
But I want Star Wars Holiday Special action figures.
That would be neat.
Yeah. So those were 13 things that I had found, that most of which I didn't know or didn't know that much about. And I thought, this is something that I want to share with these Skywalkers out there.
Well, thanks for sharing. That was really fun.
The word I'm looking for is educational.
All right, Skywalkers, that wraps up episode 144 of
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We would like to thank Steve Binder,
The director of the Star Wars Holiday Special,
Christopher Marino,
and Randy Crane of Stories of the Magic.
Very good! You did it!
There you go. And all the Skywalkers out there who help us out each and every week on Skywalking Through Neverland.
That's right. And you know what?
What?
We have a podcast soundtrack.
Yes, we do.
Rob Dellinger has released his Skywalking Through Neverland Awesome Jingle Mix Volume 1 on all digital platforms. So you can go to iTunes, you can go to Google Play Music, you can go to CD Baby, and you can find Awesome Jingle Mix Volume 1.
The other day, while your dad was in the kitchen fixing some stuff and your mom was cleaning, she was listening to Rob
That
Dellinger's
album.
Awesome Jingle Mix Volume 1.
It was so cool.
So fun to... It's good cleaning music.
Absolutely.
All right, now let's tell everyone that we are part of the Retro Zap family, where you can find awesome shows like Deucecast Movie Show,
The Techno Retro Dads,
Trade Federation Podcast.
and also Talking Apes TV.
That's a really good one, huh?
It is. That's the one you do, sweetie.
There you go.
And Skywalkers, if you want to reach out to us during the week, we are at Skywalking Pod on most social media platforms, so search that. And also, we have our awesome Skywalker Facebook group. You can request to join that, and you can also email us, share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
And once again, iTunes and Stitcher reviews are always very, very much appreciated. It tells us what you like and what maybe you don't like. We're not going to ask you for a 5-star review. We want you to be honest. If you like something, great. If you don't like something, let us know. But maybe let us know on our Facebook page, on our iTunes review. And now, here are the couple of bloopers from today's show, as well as a bit of the Steve Binder interview that didn't really work well within the main context of our discussion, but interesting nonetheless, including how he had the idea for a show and was told later on it did not work because it was a terrible idea. What show is this that was turned down only to become one of the biggest shows of the last 10 years? Listen and find out.
And always remember...
To build a Tatooine kitchen.
No! Naboo! With lots of storage.
It's a kitchen Aunt Beru would love.
No.
We'll build the Lars Homestead Kitchen.
No. I don't care if it has blue milk. I don't want it.
And we can serve... This
And a little veggie blender.
This just gets better and better.
All right, Skywalkers, we're going to go.
All right.
We're getting punchy, and you need to start messing with the gas. All right. The gas line.
The gas line.
You have to fix the gas line for the stove. Okay.
All right.
And always remember...
Neverland on Alderaan.
Some imagination, huh?
To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant Mark Augushowitz. Technical advisor Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators Donald Wicks, Joey Pittman, and Norma Heitman.
Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, all rights reserved. Sorry, had to be said.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to make a short film
Hey.
about a killer turkey on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Can't you stop the production of the film and just
Yeah.
say, hey, guys, it's Periscope time? Just like the making of Star Wars, they had to stop for tea time. It was like mandatory, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys could stop for the Skywalking Through Neverland Periscope. Just saying. Give me the name of the director and the production manager, and I'll get a hold of him. I'll talk to him.
I'm getting Minnie ready. She wasn't quite woken up yet.
And if you guys hear the banging around, that's Sarah's dad in the kitchen making it look like Tatooine. All right, moving right along.
All right. I want Naboo. Okay, I want a Naboo kitchen.
We have lots of things to share on
Things We Want to Share.
Hold back. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Gotta do it. Boom, 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 ba-dum. Boom, 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 ba-dum.
Ba-da-ba-da-da.
Boom, 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 ba-dum. I can't say things we want to share without doing that.
Yes.
All right, you want to start this off?
Yes.
All right, so this is me and my sweetie wife, Sarah, and Chris Marino and Randy Crane talking about the Avengers Half Marathon Weekend. Avengers Half Marathon Weekend.
Avengers Superheroes Half Marathon.
About the Avengers Superhero Half Marathon Weekend.
Superheroes.
What did I say?
Superhero. I know.
So here we are with Randy Crane from Stories from the Magic and Chris Marino talking about the Avengers Superheroes
half
marathon weekend at the TCL Man's Chinese
You
IMAX
got it!
Theater.
Oh my gosh!
One more time. All right. And now, before we roll into our Steve Binder interview, Binder. Blah. Did I oversimplify that?
You mean overcomplicate it a little bit?
No. Over-explain it, I meant.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. But all you have to say is...
Okay, you know what? I'll just read it the way it is.
Yeah.
Take 2. 3 or 4. Shout-outs. Skywalker shout-outs.
First of all, I want to give a big shout-out to Sarah Beth Pollock.
Okay, apparently you don't.
Well, no, you were covering up my meh.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
It's
Absolutely.
a huge pleasure to meet you, and as you can tell, we are very, very excited to talk to you about this.
Okay.
I'm a huge Star Wars.
You may be a little surprised by my answers, actually.
Wow.
Oh, yeah?
Now we're really interested. Yeah, and just
Absolutely.
looking at your resume, just full of great shows, and it looks like that you were the go-to guy to direct and produce many holiday specials, including Christmas at Pee-wee's Playhouse and many Disney-themed shows. Did you aim for that niche, or did it just happen?
Well, I loved music, and early on, I realized there was going to be a marriage between audio and visual, because in the beginning, most television people thought it was just a visual media, that, you know, the speakers were so small that nobody would pay any attention to the sound. I felt totally the opposite. Most people were listening to contemporary music on their car radios, which were smaller speakers than the tiny TV sets that were being manufactured at the time. So I partnered up with a brilliant record producer named Bones Howe. And the Binder Howe Company, we produced exclusively The Fifth Dimension and all their hits, The Association and all their hits. We worked with Laura Nero, and Bones, it was a great combination of somebody who had audio expertise working with television people who really were interested in putting the pictures on the screen. And as a result, I mean, we now have, 8.1 stereophonic, people are paying a lot of attention to home, rooms in their homes, which are filled with the latest technical equipment, both audio and visually. And it's a real experience. I mean, nobody can beat the experience of walking into a dark movie theater with, 200 or 300 other people and sitting there and having this shared experience of getting involved in the storyline of the drama. Now, to me, I feel very strongly that the experience of watching, especially the youth of today, who don't seem to have the enjoyment or the experience of in the old days when I started in this business, it was Sunday evenings at 8:00 to watch the Ed Sullivan Show with your brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents sometimes, etc., and sharing this experience in your living room. Now it's all, individual kind of watching on your iPhones or going on your computers and so forth. It's just not the same thing to me, and it's much harder to, really, with all of its advantages, it's much harder to do any kind of a show that has mass audience appeal. People right now are into their own special interests. If they're into golf, they want to watch the Golf Channel. If they were into gardening, they want to watch the Garden Channel, and so forth and so on. And I think the networks are struggling, whether we even have networks in the future, who knows, because everything is accelerating at such a rapid speed technically. But add it all up, and nothing works unless you have a good story. And for me, a good song lyric is a good story, and we can all relate to.
And just look at what the biggest shows are of the season, with Dancing with the Stars and America's Got Talent, all variety shows.
That's true, and I created a dance show called Dancing with the Stars at least 5 years before, what you're seeing right now on television.
Wow.
And I had network executives, and I can quote them, saying, Steve, as long as you and I are alive on this planet, there will never be a dance show in primetime television. That is a direct quote from one of the biggest executives in the business.
Wow.
And how wrong he was,
Wow.
Yeah, boy, and that executive producer is probably collecting change at the bottom of a freeway exit off ramp on the 101 freeway.
Oh my goodness.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I get going back to the Star Wars Holiday Special, and I love this part here. So I was really looking forward to asking you about this. Being a big Honeymooners fan when I was a kid, and seeing Art Carney, who played Son Dan, he and the Imperial officer recreating a Ralph and Ed Norton scene. Was that scene that where they were recreating the Honeymooners? Was that improvised that day, or was that rehearsed that way?
No, it was rehearsed. But I'll tell you a great story about the Honeymooners, because that came from a radio show called The Bickersons, with, I think, if my age and memory serves me right, I think Don Amici, or who was a famous actor at the time, was one of the co-stars. He played the Jackie Gleason kind of part. And they brought it to television. Now, dissolved, years later, I am producing and directing the National Emmy Award shows. And I'm meeting the president of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and he comes from the advertising world. And he said, Steve, if you want to have a hit show on television, just go through the years that since television started and look at the top 10 shows, figure out how to change the idea of the original show into a more contemporary, new idea, but it's still the same show. And he said, I'll give you an example. I bought an animated show called The Flintstones.
Oh, yeah.
If you analyze The Flintstones, that is the Honeymooners.
Right.
He said, and he said, we just made it animation instead of live action drama. And I thought about it, and I thought, it makes a lot of sense, because, if something works, and I think it was Aristotle or Socrates that said, there are only 3 or 4 ideas in the world, and everything else is a variation on those basic ideas. And that's just about it. I mean, I've heard dramatic writers in television tell me, each season we change costumes, not the stories. I mean, we're either doing police stories or doctor stories or whatever, but they're the same stories. They just have different uniforms on.
And then we're just going to put that chunk in the end of the show. Oh, my.